Japanese baseball players are among the most elite in the game right now. In 2023, Team Japan won its third World Baseball Classic, and even going further back than that, some of the best players in recent time have all been Japanese. Understandably though, there have been missteps along the way with the chances teams have taken on Japanese stars. For every Masahiro Tanaka, there's a Kei Igawa. For every Seiya Suzuki, there's a Shogo Akiyama. But today we're going to look at truly the first misstep among position players in Japanese signing history. After the meteoric rise to stardom of players like Ichiro, Suzuki, and Hideki Matsui, every team wanted their own Japanese star. Today, we'll be retelling the story of the next Japanese superstar that never was. Before we can properly tell the story of Kazuo Matsui, he doesn't like being called Kaz, guys, so I'm going to try not to. We first need to deliver some context. In 2001, the Seattle Mariners signed Ichiro Suzuki to a 3-year deal worth $14 million. It was a contract that would change the identity of their franchise forever, one that had been building for years from the day that Ichiro first met Ken Griffey Jr. years prior. Just 1 year later, in December of 2002, the New York Yankees got involved, signing their own Japanese superstar, Hideki Matsui, to a 3-year, $21 million contract. The lefty slugger, dubbed Godzilla, was never the best player on the team, but he was a key contributor for years on end and helped the Bronx Bombers climb back atop the mountain years later. The success of these two Japanese hitters spawned a frenzy of interest in overseas bats for the next coming years. Next in line to steal the spotlight and earn a big payday was a 28-year-old shortstop phenomenon by the name of Kazuo Matsui. Like the star predecessors that came before him, Kaz Matsui's resume in the Nippon Professional Baseball League was stacked to say the least. A 4-time Gold Glove winner at the toughest position on the diamond, Matsui was also an astute base runner. He was a 3-time stolen base king, including 62 swipes in his 1997 campaign, which is one of only 5 60-plus stolen base seasons in the NPB in the last 40 years. He was also a member of the All-Pro team 7 times in an 8-year window, greatly helped by the fact that he basically never missed a game. Matsui set records by playing in more than 1,100 consecutive games during his professional career in Japan, earning a reputation as an Iron Man in the middle infield. He claimed league MVP honors in 1998, just as Ichiro Suzuki and Hideki Matsui had done 2 years before in 1996. The crazy thing is that he won this award before his power even began to flourish, with Matsui crushing 30-plus home runs for the first time in his career 4 years later. Per Pro Aikaiu's NPB database, Matsui's 2002 season makes him one of only a dozen players in the history of the league with a 30 home run, 30 stolen base season, and only 2 players have been able to accomplish this in the near 25 years since. Suffice to say, the hype was certainly real, and it led to some articles that have aged quite terribly in the process. In this ESPN article from 2004, Kazuo Matsui was referred to as one of the top 5 shortstops on the planet, right up there with Alex Rodriguez, Nomar Garcia-Parra, Derek Jeter, and Miguel Tejada, with more assurance that there is no doubt he's a star. Further into the article, Matsui was dubbed the Barry Larkin of Japan, a future Hall of Famer of course, as well as the best pure athlete the Japanese game has yet produced. Bear in mind, this article was published the exact same year that Ichiro Suzuki set the unbreakable record of 262 hits in a single season. Like, at some point, that's just disrespectful to my guy. For almost 10 years, Matsui displayed elite defense, blinding speed, superb bat-to-ball skills, and even home run power in his compact swing. When he became free agent eligible following the 2003 season, the 27-year-old shortstop was obviously a coveted player, instilling the same excitement in teams that first witnessed Ichiro's arsenal of talents just a couple of seasons prior. Because of this, many MLB clubs were making offers for Matsui's services, and in a competitive bidding war, it would take an X factor to beat any given offer. Enter the New York Mets, coming off an embarrassing 95-loss season in 2003 with one of the worst farm systems in baseball. With money to spend and roster spots to fill, the Mets emerged atop the bidding war not only by crossing the $20 million threshold that Hideki Matsui signed with the Yankees for, but also some ballsy promises. While most MLB teams were scouting and envisioning Kazuo Matsui as a second baseman due to his reportedly weak arm strength, the Mets had promised Matsui that he could be the everyday shortstop if he signed with them. Just like that, along with some other promised amenities, the first Japanese infielder to play in MLB would do so with the New York Mets, as Kazuo Matsui signed a 3-year, $20 million agreement in December of 2003. The Mets even had to promise Kazuo Matsui that they would keep their lips sealed once the deal was done, because Matsui wanted to announce it to his Japanese audiences first. And you know what? I kind of wish the modern Mets teams would keep their lips sealed when deals aren't done yet. Now, on the surface, the promises made to Kazuo Matsui don't sound that outlandish when you consider the circumstances. The Mets agreed to pay for his housing, his transportation, his plane tickets, and his translators, but these were the same incentives included in Hideki Matsui's contract. Their previously weak farm system was now at least top-heavy, with 3 prospects in the top 25 in all of baseball in David Wright, Scott Kazmir, and now Kazuo Matsui. This doesn't even mention Jose Reyes, who was the number 3 prospect in baseball entering the season prior, who had put up decent numbers in his rookie campaign. But speaking of Jose Reyes, his very existence was the first problem in this partnership. In the process of promising the shortstop position to their new Japanese talent, the Mets front office was alienating their exciting young prospect in Jose Reyes, forcing him to move to second base, his unnatural position. Unfortunately, the worst kept secret in the organization at the time was that Jose Reyes was in fact the superior defensive shortstop of the two, and the numbers in 2004 would soon reveal that secret to the public. While Matsui's flair certainly would have made him an instant fan favorite in modern baseball, his chaotic nature made him a polarizing figure early in his days in America. Matsui had orange-dyed hair, he wore silver beads around his ankles, he conducted rituals that his teammates found strange, but the most damning characteristic was that Matsui wasn't an instant natural at the MLB level. The cracks in the relationship began to show early on in Matsui's Mets tenure. In spring training, Matsui struck out 19 times to lead the team, got injured twice, and was already showing fractures in his shortstop defensive abilities. Still, the team was not ready to pull the plug on their biggest offseason signing and entered opening day with Kazuo Matsui leading off and playing shortstop in his first MLB game.
The initial step in this direction was a signing heard round the world. The Mets brought Kazuo Matsui from Japan to New York.
Well, I am very, very grateful that a lot of people have great expectations for me. There's a lot of things I still have to adjust to with the changing environment, like I mentioned before, the grass, the pitchers, and getting used to those obviously it'll be my payback.
With question marks looming over his outlook, the spotlight was surprisingly not on Matsui in his first major league game. Starting for the Mets that day was Tom Glavine, who had signed with the club a year prior after 16 years spent with the division rival Atlanta Braves. Pitching at Turner Field for just the third time since departing for a new club, Glavine was introduced to a chorus of raucous booing from the sellout crowd despite everything he accomplished in Atlanta. But with the attention off of him momentarily, Matsui swiftly stole it back by kicking off his MLB career in the most ideal way possible. A leadoff home run off of Russ Ortiz on the very first pitch he saw as a major league batter. Matsui instantly delivered the Mets a 1-0 lead, becoming just the second player in league history to begin their career with an opening day leadoff home run. Matsui went 3 for 3 with 3 extra base hits and 3 runs batted in his debut, reaching base in all 5 of his plate appearances and helping the Mets seal a 7-2 win. In one day, the bad taste left in the mouths of Mets fans after an underwhelming month of spring training had vanished instantly, but it wasn't gone for good. Matsui's bat stayed hot for all of April. He collected multiple hits in 8 of his first 23 games in April, then on May 12th hit another leadoff home run, this time off Randy Johnson, which was the key hit in a 1-0 victory for the Mets. Through 2 months in the show, Matsui posted a respectable 783 OPS, which ranked 7th best among all primary shortstops in this window. His plate discipline had seemingly translated between leagues as well, with his 11.4 walk rate ranking 3rd among all shortstops. While he was stealing less bases, his 14 stolen bases by year's end would also lead all rookies. But unfortunately, as you can probably guess by the title of this video, this 8-week window that Matsui played so well in was the peak of his Mets career entirely in this 3-year contract. In June, Matsui's numbers plummeted and the Japanese infielder would lose his spot as the everyday leadoff hitter to Jose Reyes. Later in the month, Matsui was benched following an 0 for 16 stretch in 4 games, a poor week capped off by a 2-error game on June 13th. This ended his streak of consecutive games played between Japan and MLB at 1,213. Matsui, perhaps a bit defeated, admitted that he agreed with the coach's decision ultimately. Between his struggles at the plate and poor defense on the field, it's no secret why. Months later, for the first time in his career, Matsui would miss significant time with back spasm injuries, playing in just a dozen games in the final 2 months of the season. This allowed Jose Reyes to return to his natural position, a spot he would not relinquish moving forward in his Mets tenure. At the end of Kazuo Matsui's rookie campaign in 2004, he finished with underwhelming offensive numbers overall. He sported an OPS over 10% worse than league average, played to a replacement level value in 114 games, and slugged under 400 in a disappointing first year, despite still receiving National League Rookie of the Year votes at season's end. Worst of all, though, was his defense. Despite missing the final 2 months of the year almost entirely, Kazuo Matsui still placed in the bottom 10 of all fielders in the 2004 season with 23 errors total, the 5th worst among shortstops. Between his inability to cleanly backhand ground balls or his constant short hopping of routine throws to first base, it was abundantly abundantly clear to Mets fans that the middle infielders were playing the wrong positions the entire year. Had the Mets not made so many promises just to get Matsui in a Mets uniform in the first place, perhaps they would have made the switch a lot earlier. But in 2005, Kazuo Matsui became the regular second baseman on the team. Overall, in his 3-year stay from 2004 to 2006, Matsui never won over the Mets fans, progressively getting worse and worse following his rookie campaign. The best thing Matsui accomplished in his MLB career was his most unbeatable feat, a leadoff home run to start the season in each of his first 3 years in the show. In 2005, it came off former Generation K Mets prospect Paul Wilson. In 2006, he saved his best for last, with an electric inside-the-park home run off future Cy Young winner Jake Peavy. But as I previously stated, opening day would be the peak of the season pretty much every year for Kazuo Matsui.
Matsui does it again! 3 straight years, a home run in his first at-bat of the year. This one inside the park, and it ties the game at 1-1. Unbelievable!
I don't believe it.
More injuries followed for Matsui in the ensuing 2 seasons, as he was eventually relegated to second base duties and then bench duties in favor of other infielders. After hitting 7 home runs in his rookie campaign, Matsui hit just 6 home runs in the 2 seasons that followed combined. When the Mets failed to find a trade partner after the conclusion of the 2005 season, they were eventually able to ship Kazuo Matsui off at the 2006 trade deadline, sending him to the Colorado Rockies in early June as the club battled to overcome their .500 record. To the dismay of Mets fans, Matsui instantly started playing much more productive baseball as soon as he put on a new uniform. The Japanese second baseman hit for a scalding hot .345 batting average, posting an OPS 20% better than league average in his 32 games for the Rockies down the stretch. But while Matsui performed much better, it was his former team that would win their division and return to the playoffs without him that season. Matsui got the last laugh though, returning to the Rockies in 2007 to put together the best full season of his MLB career. 2007 was the only 3-WAR season of Matsui's professional career in MLB, as he hit for a respectable .288 average, stole over 30 bases for the first and only time in MLB, and graded out much better as a second baseman compared to a shortstop defensively. Matsui placed in the top 20 of stolen bases in the league that season, and he's the only Rockies second baseman in team history to accomplish totals this high in a single year. Conversely, Mets fans would grow to loathe their big-ticket free agent signing, Luis Castillo, who took over second base duties in Queens during that very season. Matsui became a key contributor in a playoff-bound Rockies lineup, leading him towards the only postseason play he would get to experience in his 7-year American career. In their NLDS sweep against the Phillies, Matsui went 5 for 8 with 4 extra base hits in the final 2 games, including a 5 RBI performance in their Game 2 win on the road. Overall, Matsui finished his playing days in the US with unimpressive numbers despite the few highs he experienced along the way. But when you put it on a scale of Japanese players that made it to MLB and actually got regular playing time, it doesn't even look that bad. Matsui is one of only 6 Japanese position players ever with over 2,500 plate appearances. He's one of 4 Japanese players ever to steal over 100 bases, joined by Shohei Ohtani, Dave Roberts, and Ichiro Suzuki. And he's one of 13 Japanese native players with over 1,000 plate appearances and an OPS above 700. Again, it's not numbers that jump off the page, but considering how difficult it is to make the jump from NPB to MLB, especially back then, I definitely wouldn't consider his career a failure by any means. Following the 2010 season, Kazuo Matsui returned to Japan, signing on with the Rakuten Golden Eagles and finally winning his first Japanese series title at age 37 in 2013. And that is the story of Kazuo Matsui and MLB. While I put some respect on his name at the end of this video, I think it more goes to show just how impressive the careers of players like Ichiro Suzuki and Hideki Matsui truly were. Let me know if you enjoyed today's topic for today's video. If you want, we'll do more Japanese player retrospectives. I always have a really good time with that. If you watched this video all the way to the end, thank you. Leave a like on the video if you enjoyed it and consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't already. That'll do it for me though, and I'll see you guys next time.